Welcome to the historic Nurburgring, a place which really does live up to its name as the home of motorsport in Germany. On just one day in July, there was a lot going on. International Rallycross on the Southern Loop, mad bikers and drivers paying their 14 Deutschmark to thrash around the magnificent road circuit in the Eifel Mountains, a circuit first built way back in 1927. On the 1980s Grand Prix circuit, there was car and motorcycle racing on over the weekend, and the facility also hosted Germany's top rally, the Rally Deutschland, with the finish ramp in the nearby village of Adenau. But we're here for Rallycross and the 1992 Internations Cup. Here's Arthur Debenham to look at some of the 11 teams entered.
There we see the Norwegian team, quite a strong one there, Division 1 category, very strong indeed. British team, the Division 1 category, entirely Vauxhall Novas. There we see Rob Coates, Paul Coney with his Nova, and these little cars running not on fuel injection but on carburetors. There's Barry Squibb for the British team in the Division 2 category. There is the Irish team, and incidentally, the Irish team is exactly the same team as we saw at Croft back in 1990. Kevin Sherry there, down at the bottom right-hand corner of your picture. There is the Dermot Carnegie car, the car which we saw for the first time at Mondello Park just a few weeks ago. Dermot on the left, big John Maloney to his right. And then we have the Swedish team, not the strongest team from Sweden. It's a very late addition to this event, and in fact the Swedish team comprises only really one international star of Ole Arnesson. Most of them are involved with Rallycross back home. There is the German team. It still amazes me rather that Germany is not able to field a stronger team than it does car-wise. And the Czechoslovakian team, that is the only Skoda in the Czechoslovakian team, little Skoda Favorit, and there's quite a lot of much more powerful machinery in the Czechoslovakian team, and they could indeed spring quite a big surprise here. Schaefer there at the top of your picture is indeed their top man. But another country which is obviously not fielding its strongest team, in fact only 5 cars have turned up here for Belgium, have the only lady driver, that's Anne Janssens in there. But nevertheless, I'm sure they'll give it their best.
British team manager is Tony Watts, and he tells us what the event is all about.
Well, the Internations is pretty unique in that you're running for points, and times are not as important as they are in a normal rallycross. We although tell our drivers to drive as quickly as they can, because the time from one heat is used for the grid positions for the next heat, so it is very important, which is why the practice which they did this morning was perhaps even more important than normal, because that gave them their grid positions for the races, and you'll see that all of our cars in Division 2 will have front row grids. And with 11 cars on a grid, your grid position is very, very important.
Now, how does the scoring work, in fact? Everybody, it really matters where you finish, whether you finish last but one's as important almost as finishing second over third.
Yes, that's correct. The winner of the race gets the number of points equal to the number of teams. So in this case, it's 11 points for a win, 10 points per second in the first 3 runs. And then in the finals, when the 5 remaining teams have qualified through, it becomes 25, 20, and so on. So it's very important to get into the finals, first of all. That's our first job, is to get the team into the final.
And what are the prospects then? It's going to be a bit closer than 1990.
Yes, I think it's going to be very close. Obviously, the Norwegians are very strong. Sweden have got Ole Arnesson in the team. It's a bit of a wild card. We don't know what he'll do. Ireland have got some very good drivers. We don't know what the Novas are going to do relative to the Division 1 cars, but we're very confident. I've never seen such a good team spirit as we have this year. Everybody's worked very hard, and that's most encouraging.
Yes, well, we're taking a look back now at Croft, the last Internations Cup at Croft, and this was one of the classic races between John Welch in the Sphere Drake Astra and Terry Ski there with the Peugeot T16. It really was a classic race. It was one of those races that lives in your memory, it lives in mine, and this was John Welch at his very, very best. And oh, how I would love to see this highly talented man get that car really going again, because John at the moment going through a very lean patch, and not in the British team this year, but nevertheless I think a very strong British team.
It's nice because the whole year you're fighting like a lone wolf, and all of a sudden you belong to a team of 6 members, so obviously you have to forget everything that's been on before, because now you have to go and look and take care and give advices to everyone. So it's a totally different kettle of fish.
It is indeed, and here we have a race at Croft between Martin and John in there again. John Welch, a race that John had to win if Britain was going to hang on to the chance of beating Norway in this event. And of course, neither of these drivers in the 1992 version. John not selected for the British team, and of course, as you well know, Martin Skank is still suffering from that suspension. He'll be back with us on the 1st of August, or his suspension ends on the 1st of August. But there again, you can see how John was keeping the Astra right in touch with this superbly quick RS 200 around this very fast circuit at Croft in North Yorkshire. Croft, of course, has hosted the Internations Cup on 2 occasions, and it is back in 1987 that the British team won it. The British team won it, and of course John Welch was a member of that winning team on that occasion. But back in 1990, it was Norway who won it. They had indeed won it the previous year at Maasmechelen in Belgium, and so the Norwegians are indeed this year going for a hat-trick. We didn't have an Internations Cup last year, but there you can see Skogstad and Opland and the rest of the gang all there, Steiner Uranli on the left, all throwing Martin Skank high in the air, because there was a lot of jubilation at the Croft circuit when Norway won, and Martin going round on his lap of honour. And the Norwegian team this year changed a little bit, but still a very, very strong one indeed. Perhaps the one driver in the Norwegian team that'll be a little bit of unknown to us is Terry Morstad with his X-Track, and we've got welcome back Bolnaset into the team.
This time, first of all, Martin is without the license, and you know, he's very good, so that is one out. And the Iversons blew their engines in Sweden, and that means we are coming with only one of the guys in Division 2 running the European Championship, and the 2 other Norwegians. Division 1, I think we have a very strong team. But looking at the rest of the boys that are here, the Irish and the English particularly, I think it's going to be a very close fight this time.
It looks that way, doesn't it? But as you say, very strong in Division 1.
Yes, we are strong in Division 1, and as we have been doing this type of match a couple of times before, we know that everything happen here, and the one that can keep their cars going and be in the field, they will be competing about the championship at the end of the day.
Have a good day.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Well, that of course was Thor Holm, and Thor, I would imagine, would be looked upon as the team leader of the Norwegian team. Here we have the grid forming for the very first heat of the afternoon, and the Swedish team perhaps not quite as strong as we would have expected. There's number 24, Rob Coates from Scorton in Yorkshire, with the little Vauxhall Nova. In fact, we're going to be on board with Rob Coates in this event. Bjorn Skogstad there on the outside of the front row of the grid. He surely must be the man to watch. There's Waite. We're about to get this 1992 Internations Cup underway with the first qualifying heat, and 2:06 making a very good start. There was Bernd Schumann, but indeed it is Skogstad who's come away the early leader. Bjorn Skogstad leads it. Skogstad leading. Bjorn Skogstad for Norway coming up, leading this one. Watch also for the Czechoslovakians in this race, car number 66. They are in with a very strong chance. We're riding here with Rob Coates. The little Vauxhall Nova's giving away a lot of power, but there we can see Rob well ahead of some of the other teams. You can hear the loose surface being pounded up onto the bottom of the Nova as Rob goes away, but this indeed is Bjorn Skogstad then, currently lying second overall in the European Championship. Skogstad coming away with the Group A Sierra Cosworth. Rob Coates going through there. We can still see Rob Coates up quite strongly. Rob Coates are in a good position. We've also got for the Czechoslovakians out there, Pavel Kotny with the Sierra Cosworth. And as I said, most of the Czechoslovakian Skodas have vanished, just got the one little favourite, most of them now with much more powerful cars. 3 Sierra Cosworths in the Czechoslovakian team, but this is the Sierra Cosworth of the man from Norway, Bjorn Skogstad, and Bjorn looking well clear there. There indeed is Coates, and I think it's the Czechoslovakian car just in front of him, the Sierra. But it's still Bjorn Skogstad leading it. 25,000 people in here in the Nurburgring this afternoon on this southern loop of the original 14-mile track, which can host up to 45,000 seated spectators. But about 25,000, and that's a good crowd by Rallycross standards, and they are watching. Bjorn Skogstad coming away, leading this first race. There in second place is Bernd Schumann for Sweden, number 206. Bernd Schumann very high up in the German Championship last year, and most of the Swedish drivers in this particular team from Sweden today are in fact regular contestants in the German Championship, so maybe they have a slight advantage over some of the drivers in that they know this circuit perhaps slightly better than some of the others, but know it he may well do. But Schumann for Sweden there in second place, can't do anything about our race leader. In third place it is indeed Czechoslovakia. Rob Coates is in fourth, and right behind Rob Coates it looks like, just trying to pick up who is behind him there, but we're riding with Rob Coates. Rob with the Fujifilm Technic T entry from Scorton in Yorkshire, representing Great Britain for the very first time, and I know very, very proud to be in here, as are all of these 3 Nova Challenge cars. Special permission, as I said, to run on carburetors. They would need fuel injection to be a totally conventional Group A car, and cheer going up there. I think Rob Coates may have made up a place, but we're still with Bjorn Skogstad. Skoggy takes the checkered flag. Bjorn Skogstad wins that one. That's Rob Coates coming through, ahead there of number 54. And a good drive there from Rob Coates. But there you can see the scores coming up, 11 points. And in fact it was 11 points to Norway. And Britain making a good start with 8 points to sit in 4th place at the end of the first race. And coming on to pole position there, you know him well, number 16, Ludwig Hunspett in the Stadtile BMW. We have indeed got Mick Bird representing Great Britain in this race, but there is a number 65. That's the top Czechoslovakian. There is 26, Mick Bird. And Kevin Sherry for Ireland. But it's Hunspett making a brilliant start. Peter Kramer, I can see for the Netherlands going up on the outside. Peter Kramer coming up very strongly into 4th place for the Netherlands. But it is indeed Ludwig Hunspett leading this one. Behind him we have indeed got Miroslav Schaefer. Then in 3rd place, making a brilliant start with a little 16-valve Golf GTI, it's Gert Vestergaard for Denmark. And I think then the next man up might be Peter Kramer, trying to pick up Mick Bird. He's some way down the order, but we can see that Hunspett has come away very, very strongly indeed. Ludwig Hunspett. Familiar colours of this highly talented Norwegian. So Norway looking to go out of this race on a maximum score. Another 11 points in the bag. Schaefer going very well. The Czechoslovakians figuring very well in the early stage of this one. There's Peter Kramer. You can see going through. And the Netherlands, in fact, contesting the Internations Cup for the first time ever. And Peter Kramer from Aalsmeer driving for them, but this is the BMW of Ludwig Hunspett, and what a clear lead now, pulling away then from Schaefer, and the Dane hanging on very, very well there. The Dane hanging on extremely well. Denmark, a little bit like Ireland, I think. It doesn't really much worry what happens. The being there is what counts. And if you see a Danish driver overtake someone, there will be an almighty cheer go up from the Danish supporters. Quite a bit of dust coming up, but no dust problems for our race leader, and that is still Ludwig Hunspett for Norway. So the Norwegians, the defending champions in this Internations Cup. Remember, it's 6 cars in each team, 3 from Division 1, 3 from Division 2. Norway certainly the strongest Division 1 team, perhaps the UK the strongest Division 2 team. 86 going through there, it's the Peugeot 205 for the Hungarian, Baki. Behind him number 96, that's Arthur Debenham from Portugal with his Peugeot. In fact, Portugal contesting this event for the very first time. Like the Netherlands, 2 newcomers to the Internations Cup. But it's the very solid looking BMW of The leader going through there, Ludwig Hunsbett. Quite a gaggle of cars coming through here. 36 we just pick up there, that's Anne Janssens from Belgium, the only lady driver in the competition, and I think perhaps the first ever lady driver in the Internations. Anne going quite well there, making up a place. Number 36, Anne Janssens with the 16-valve Opel Kadett GSI. There's our race leader, once again, number 16, taking the checkered flag. So Norway now on a maximum score. 2 wins from the first 2 qualifying heats, and coming through in second place it is Miroslav Schaefer there for Czechoslovakia. A good run for them and a good run for the Danes. They take 3rd. Holland gets 4th. The next man up I think is Bjorn Olsen from Sweden. Then it's Mick Bird. Mick Bird taken 7th there, just ahead of Ireland. Mick Bird taken 6th, beg your pardon. Yes, and just ahead of Kevin Sherry from Ireland. And there is the score, and you can see confirmation of that Norway now on 22 points. Czechoslovakia, the big surprise, in second place. As we go straight into race number 3, Opland on pole position for this one. Even Opland, there is number 25, that's Paul Coney, the young man from down near Dartford, of course, the reigning division, well, not Division 3, I should say he's in Division 3 in Britain now, but of course this is his Nova Challenge car, with which of course he is the reigning Nova Challenge champion here in the UK. He's got a good grid position there from the front row, but surely the power of the Sierra Cosworth must tell as they come away, and in fact it's Opland away in the lead. Opland leads this one, and I think it might be a good race here for Belgium in second place. It looks a bit like Jan van Elderen, who slotted into second place. This is going to be a good result for Belgium if they can hang on to it. Behind them it is Gedston from there is number 204, yes, that's Gedston from Sweden, so Sweden going quite well. Paul Coney, you can see tucked in there in 4th place. Paul Coney going well in 4th place. And there coming over the brow is our race leader though, Ivan Opland, team yet again Norway to the front. So the Norwegians at the moment taking a commanding advantage here in this event, and behind them no one country seems to be dominating. Czechoslovakia going quite well, but now Belgium going well in this one. So Norway getting sort of 2 advantages here. One, the domination of the contest, and behind them nobody really consistently in second position. But this could all change when we go over to the Division 2 cars, where Britain is very strong indeed. But Ivan Opland looking to make it 3 in a row here for Norway at the moment. Not much seen of Ivan Opland last year, of course, in the European Championship, but has had very mixed fortunes in the European Championship this year. There's 204 coming through. That is Gedston from Sweden with the Saab 900 Turbo 16, really being hounded by Paul Coney. Paul Coney really hounded them. Just in front there you can see number 34, Jan van Elderen, Sierra Cosworth. Jan van Elderen from Belgium. Quite well known to our British viewers, Jan van Elderen, regular visitor to our shores whenever there's an international event, allowing him to come over with the Sierra Cosworth, but being pushed very hard now by Bjorn Olsen from Sweden, and we can see Paul Coney right in there as well. Paul Coney really tucked right in, and the British team, I know, are really getting behind their management. Tony Watts and Pete Earnshaw have been working very hard for this, and a tremendous team spirit. Mustn't also forget the lady in the team as well, of course, Linda Keane, who's been doing public relations and PR work for the team. And we mustn't forget, of course, the major motivator behind the team as far as the sponsorship's concerned, and that, of course, is Motoring News, all coming together to support this British team. But at the moment, the little Novas going well that they are, obviously losing out in the power race, but remember, it's fitness as well, because you've got to be there at the end. And the Novas should have pretty good reliability, but Paul Coney giving away a lot of power with that little 1600cc pushrod engine car, but he really is hanging on to these more powerful cars, but nowhere is anybody near this man, and it's 3 in a row then for Norway, as Opland takes that one. Behind them, Van Elderen coming home ahead of Olsen, and Paul Coney tucked right in there, and a very strong 4th place, 3rd in that battle. But there we see the points coming up, and they're 311s, and still Czechoslovakia hanging on to that 2nd place, but they have now been joined by Sweden. Sweden now equal, and Great Britain up there in 4th place, but Norway beginning to get away a little bit. And you can see that the Hungarians and the Portuguese are propping everybody up at the moment. There's Barry Squibb then. We move now to the Division 2 cars. We've got Arneson here, Ole Arnesen. There is number 42, Dermot Carnegie for Ireland. Number 32, Mark Verreck for Belgium. But on pole there, number 11, back with his X-Track, the very, very talented man, Cheryl Bolnaset. And as they come away, Bolnaset down in 4th place, and it's looking rather good at the moment for Barry Squibb. Barry Squibb is leading this one for Great Britain. Arnesen is in 2nd place, Ireland in 3rd for Dermot Carnegie, and Mark Verreck getting all crossed up there. And we can see number 11, Cheryl Bolnaset, getting caught up in the tyres. There's Finn Jespersen getting very, very crossed up in car number 51, the 4x4 Porsche. But now, Barry Squibb coming under a lot of pressure from big Ole Arnesen. Arnesen, by far the most experienced international driver in the Swedish team, with the Audi Sport Quattro putting a lot of pressure now on to Barry Squibb. But Barry Squibb, who came into the British team after the rather unfortunate poor form of the Stephen Palmer car, which was the original selection for the team, Barry Squibb came in, and of course Barry is a man really going very well in his first full season in Europe this year, and the Torquay Hotelier representing Great Britain for the very first time in the Internations Cup, and he's keeping this Hayward International car up front. Barry Squibb with the John Minty powered X-Track going very, very well there, holding off the attentions of Ole Arnesen. And where are Norway? Norway are some way down the order. And this is all very, very good indeed for Great Britain. We're going to really close in on the Norwegians here if Barry Squibb can keep this one up. But Sweden are trying to get right in the act here now as Arnesen comes up to put pressure onto Barry Squibb. Dermot Carnegie from Dublin, they're in 3rd place. This is a good result coming up for the highly talented Irish trio of drivers that they have in this Division 2 category. But Barry Squibb, if anything, getting a little way away from big Ole Arnesen. This very determined character from Torquay. Barry Squibb driving a very good race here. Squibby it is. Arnesen still putting him under pressure as they go away. There is Dermot Carnegie coming into your picture. There's Bolnaset in 4th place, so Norway down in 4th place at the moment. That's where we want to keep them if we can. And Squibby's car chuffing out a bit of smoke as it goes through that chicane there. I wonder if Barry's got a little bit of a problem on his hands, because Arnesen is closing in a bit now. Arnesen closing in a bit on Barry Squibb as they come away. But still Barry Squibb holding it for Great Britain. Barry Squibb trying to get Britain those precious 11 points, and those two drivers dominating it. Dermot dropping back a little bit, but Ireland getting a good result at the moment in 3rd place. But it is still Barry Squibb from Ole Arnesen. It's between these two drivers now. And Arnesen coming in to have a very, very close look now. This highly talented man from Sweden trying to get the Swedish nation into this event if they possibly can. Barry Squibb trying to do likewise. A really superb battle going on up at the head of the field, but it is still Barry Squibb, and Barry every now and again pulls away from him. A lot of smoke coming from the car on the overrun. There's Finn Jespersen going through, 87 going through there as well. That's one of the Hungarians, and we've got problems there, I think, for Finn Jespersen again. But Barry Squibb in trouble, surely. Barry Squibb in troubles. Whatever has happened here, I don't know, but it looks as though Squibby may have spun it. And as he recovers, Carnegie has gone through. Carnegie has gone through. There is Jespersen. We see a replay of it. Jespersen was in trouble, and I think that, and Squibby surely spun to avoid Jespersen, and oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Well, the real problem started there with Finn Jespersen, I think, and Squibby has threw it sideways to avoid the contact with the Dane, and that's cost Britain dearly there. And now we have Barry Squibb riding on board with Squibby, as you can see, and well, what a shame there for Britain. We have now, however, moved up to 3rd place, but now Sweden are up into 2nd place and only 4 points behind Norway. Czechoslovakia still 4th. Ireland have now come up to 5th. So, Norway continue their stranglehold on this event at the moment. But Britain in 3rd. So back to the Nurburgring, and we have some of the top men in Europe in this one. There you've caught a glimpse of Pat Duran. This, of course, is Dennis Biggerstaff, the current leader of the British Championship. There is Bertil Persson for Sweden. Bertil, I would say, second only to Ole Arnesen in the experience in this event from the Swedish team. And there for Holland is Hans de Pas with the Will Goller prepared card. There for Belgium, number 31, that's Jos Sturkens. This is the start line official. About to get them underway. Pat Durand there on pole position. Dennis Biggerstaff with him, and Virgil Persson on the front row of the grid. Hans de Pas making a good run for the Netherlands as they go away. Thorholm from a very lowly grid position. You can see Thorholm to the left of your picture. He is the danger man in this race. Norway not getting a good grid position in this race, and Pat Durand getting a very good one. And so Pat coming away then with the Q8 Oils RS200. One of only 2 drivers here who were in the British team back in 1990 when he was driving his Sierra Cosworth. He was running for us in Group A, where he was, well, in all honesty, in to make the numbers up because we were so short of Group A cars. But now he's not in to make the numbers up. He's there on purely on merit because Pat Durand certainly deserves his position in here. The winner in France at the European Championship round. The current holder, of course, of the British Grand Prix title, and Pat Durand beginning to put a lot of daylight between himself and that highly talented Irishman, Dennis Biggerstaff from County Down in Dromara. There we can see Jos Sturkins and Thorholm having a battle. But this, of course, is the immaculate as ever car of Pat Durand. Pat goes on his way, and remember, of course, in this event, once you get out front, yeah, you really still got a motor because grid positions can be based on the times taken, so there's no holding back conserving the car. But on the other hand, you want to conserve the car because you can't substitute a car. If a car has a terminal failure, then that is terminal for the team as well. Dennis Biggerstaff going through in second place, Virgil Persson, Hans de Pas for the Netherlands. But this again is Pat Durand from Walderslade, near the Medway Towns. Ex-rally man, now into his first full international season of European Rallycross. What a great season he's having. There is Dennis Biggerstaff with the ex-Stephen Palmer car, the car that was in the British team at Croft back in 1990. Dennis then driving again for the Irish team. The Irish team, as I said, exactly the same team as they had in 1990. The only nation with exactly the same team. And the only slight difference in the Irish team is that I think one of the Peugeots, which was a 309, has now become a 205. It's the same drivers. Hans de Pas, he'll be delighted to be in this event. I'm delighted to see the Netherlands in it at long last. But Pat Durand showing us just what he's made of here with the RS200, the Julian Godfrey powered car, takes the checkered flag. Pat Durand wins that one in fine style, but Ireland are going to get a good result here. Dennis Biggerstaff giving them another good result. Second place there, Sweden third, Netherlands pick up fourth, and it looks as though Thorholm has come through on the inside. Thorholm has at long last got past the 4x4 turbo of Jos Sturkins, little Fiesta. But there we can see now that Norway have only got a 2-point advantage now over Sweden. Sweden really are going very, very well. There's only 2 points between them now. This is where the UK could really come into it. There we see number 12. He's a little bit of an unknown quantity to the British fans. That's Terry Morstad from Norway with his X-Track. We saw also there Big John Maloney. There's 101, and that is Jan Langenberg with the East Coast Racing powered escort for the Netherlands. But this is Will Gollop sitting there on pole position with the Stilclean Alpha Metals Bi-Turbo 6R4. He surely is going to be the man to beat in this race, but no, he is not up in front at the moment. He has been beaten away by Morstad. Morstad has got it for Norway. Well, what a turn up for the books. A lightning start there for number 12, Terry Morstad, coming away with the X-Track. Will Gollop's got to find a way past if he can. It looks like Big John Maloney there in third place, and this is where Will Gollop goes through. Yes, Britain get ahead of Norway, but I'm sure Will Gollop would like to see the Norwegians a bit further down the order than this, but we can see that Morstad going very, very well there for Norway. He's going to get a good second place. That's going to retain their lead, I would think, in this event. But Will Gollop's really going to call the tune in this one. He's going to close in them. John Maloney coming through in third place. There in fourth place surely is Jan Langenberg. The rest of the order going through. There's the Czechoslovakian with the Skoda Favorit. But John Maloney in third place there with the 3.8 6R4. He's a long way clear, and we can see through the dust that Jan Langenberg's pulling off, and the retirement there, he'll be classified 11th, I would think. Jan Langenberg for the Netherlands pulling off. Very likeable man, originally from Valkensvaart, who now lives in Belgium, but that's the man from down at Whitstable. Whitstable Will then with the G-Tech prepared. Cliff Humphreys powered Bi-Turbo Metro 6R4 going away. leading this one. If only John Maloney could get in there and get second place, he'd not only help Ireland, he'd help the UK as well by getting Norway back a slot, but it doesn't at the moment look as though it will happen. Although no, John Maloney will be trying very, very hard indeed. So Will Gollop it is. And but for the mishap there of Barry Squibb, this would have indeed been a maximum score, it would have seemed, on these first qualifying heats for the British team, but not quite. But Will Gollop takes another 11 points for the United Kingdom. And Norway takes second place. A good run there from Mordstad, justifying his position in the team. John Maloney get another good result for Ireland. They come home in third place. What's that done for Ireland? Britain up now to second. Sweden drop down to third. Ireland are up now to fourth. Czechoslovakia dropping back a bit. Belgium are now up into sixth position. And Denmark dropping down. Hungary and Portugal, as you can see, still propping the countries up. Germany tying there with the Netherlands. Belgium only just in front of them. And it's between, certainly between the top four, I would think. But it's be a good battle going on, I think, for perhaps that elusive fifth place in the finals. We're coming up to Heat 7 then, the start of the second set of qualifying runs. There you see number 206, Bernd Schumann. There is number 66, Pavel Kotny from Czechoslovakia. There is Rob Coates for the United Kingdom. Number 54, Arne Jorgensen from Denmark, from Odense, with his Sierra Cosworth. Number 44 there, Ed Colton from the Republic of Ireland with the Peugeot 205 GTI. Any moment now the lights will go green, and again we can see that it's a brilliant start there for Hunspet. Hunspet getting away very, very well indeed. It looks as though Denmark have come up very strongly. It looks as though Denmark might be up into second place. Arne Jorgensen going well. I think he's a Dane who concentrates on the German Championship. I seem to recall seeing him at the Estering last year, and may well be he's got quite a good knowledge of this particular track. But these drivers, of course, learn the circuits very, very quickly. Trying to pick up who's in third place. That might be Czechoslovakia. It is Czechoslovakia in third place. They're doing very well in the Division 1 category, the Czechoslovakians. But no luck there for 44, Ed Colton. He's having to come back onto the track. For the Irish, not too strong in Division 1, a bit like the UK. And really relying on a couple of rally Peugeots there, together with Kevin Cherry's Golf. But nevertheless, I'm sure they'll be enjoying themselves and trying hard to get in that top 5. There's Rob Coates going through. Rob Coates going quite well there. And in fact, I think he's ahead of Sweden. He is indeed. He's ahead of Sweden, surely. That's good for Britain there. Rob Coates getting a good result for the UK. But once again, Norway beginning to reassert the pressure up front as we go back to Division 1. This is where they are so strong. There's 74 going through. That's Oliver Sass for Germany. Germany trying to make up a place there, and I think Sass making up a place. Oh, but they're getting it all wrong. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. And it looks as though that may be somebody almost in the process of about to be lapped. I could see the leader going through. Rob Coates going very well. He's there in fourth place, and he's not far behind those two Sierra Cosworths. You can see the Sierra Cosworths of Denmark and Czechoslovakia just ahead of him. Jorgensen and Kotny. It really is good to see 11 nations contesting this event, and to see some of the countries that don't figure too strongly in the European Championship going so well. Countries like Denmark and Czechoslovakia. And yes, we can see that Schumann is indeed behind Rob Coates, but not for much longer. Getting ahead of Rob Coates, I think, there, causing a few problems for Rob. This is still our race leader, Hunspet, going through, looking to make it 2 out of 2. A good scrap going on here. Still 54, Jorgensen there. And Schumann, we can see, has come up into fourth place now. Number 206. Rob Coates recovering quickly. He's down now to fifth. 104 going through. That was Jaap van Tal for the Netherlands. This is the battle for second place. Really good scrap it is. Czechoslovakia hanging on in there very, very well indeed. Trying hard to get that place from Denmark. And Rob Coates back into fourth. Rob Coates back ahead of Schumann's BMW. Oh, that's good for Britain. That's going to put us back on terms with the Swedes. Ahead of the Swedes in this race, but Norway again win it. Norway winning it. That, I think, was the Irish car which had been lapped. And this is the battle going through, and Rob Coates will be delighted with this. He's done very, very well with it on Nova. To come home in 4th place ahead of Sweden, that is good. And Jaap van Tol was 6th for the Netherlands. But there's the points, and you can see Britain up now into 2nd place, and only 8 points down on Norway. Sweden now 10 points down on the leaders. Czechoslovakia back to 4th. Opland looked quite happy as we saw him there on the start line. That is Schaefer's car from Czechoslovakia. Jan van Elderen for the Belgian team. Just adjusting the seat belts, but you can see he might well need them. That car has had a bit of argument with the scenery. 28 coming up there. That in 26, I should say. That is not Rob Coates. That is Mick Bird, and we've got a camera in Mick Bird's car in this race. Let's see what happens to Mick, who's come back into Rallycross. He was one time, of course, an international star in the United Kingdom. Was driving in Rallycross about 10 years ago. Made a return to the sport this year in the Nova Challenge. And when we were looking for Nova drivers, I think the British selection team were quite wise to pick Mick Bird, because they knew that he got all of this wealth of international experience behind him of years past when he was driving for the Car Colours team and, of course, work support at CR8. And there he is in 4th place. No, he's not. That's number 55. That is Gert Vestergaard. Gert Vestergaard for the Danes. Riding with Mick Bird. I think Mick probably is the man behind Vestergaard at the moment. But there, once again, you can see the strength of Norway. Norway up front. Norway leading this one. Schaefer is in 2nd place. There is Vestergaard and Mick Bird right behind him. Mick Bird, yes, Mick Bird surely in 4th place, I think, behind Gert Vestergaard for Denmark with a 16-valve Golf. Obviously a little bit more grunt of the Golf down the straights, and you can see it pulling away a bit from Mick Bird as we ride with the Midhurst garage proprietor. Car prepared by Mick himself. And Mick it is, keeping it in tight, the loose surface, pounding the under tray of the car, closing on the loose, you can see on the Dane that as they go back onto the straight, so that Golf edges away a little bit from Mick Bird. Race leader, Ivan Opland for Norway, 2nd. Once again, a good run for the Czechoslovakians in 2nd place. Denmark 3rd, Mick Bird for Britain in 4th. And that's good, because he's keeping BMWs and Saab turbos and Sierra Cosworths behind him. So that's a really good run there coming for Mick Bird. Absolutely over the moon to be selected for the team. I don't think he really thought that in a million years, coming back into Rallycross for the first time this year after that long break, that he'd have the opportunity to drive in this international event and represent the United Kingdom. But that's what he's doing, and once again he closes in on the Golf. Oh, if this Nurburgring was a little bit twistier. It is a pretty fast track by Rallycross standards, and it's suiting the power of these Sierra Cosworths very, very much indeed. And Opland absolutely in control of this race. Well away, takes the checkered flag, another 11 points for Norway. But hats off to Mick Bird. Well, don't take it off yet, Mick, you're still in the car, but a good result there, he's 4th. That's not a bad run at all. Van Elderen, the next man up for Belgium. Then I think we've got Germany coming through. Germany coming through there with, I think that was Germany next man up. But we can see that Czechoslovakia and Denmark going well, and they're in the top 5. Ireland not in the top 5 at the moment. So Ireland, we've got a lot to do to keep in this top 5, remember, to get into the all-important finals. Well, there surely is the sight of a potential winner. The yellow Camel Sierra of Bjorn Skogstad. Number 25, there is Paul Coney for the UK. Number 46, he's the only driver that I know of who's driven for 2 different countries in this competition. And that, of course, is Kevin Sherry, who comes from Northern Ireland, which, of course, is part of the United Kingdom. And in the 1989 version of this event, when Ireland were not contesting it in Belgium, Kevin Sherry came in to drive for Great Britain. To make it even more international, of course, he's a Canadian by birth. You can't get much more international than that, can you? But up front, it is indeed. Bjorn Skogstad, and I think we might well see Paul Coney in third place in this one at the moment, but Skogstad leads it. Bjorn Skogstad leading this one. There's a good scrap going on behind him, and I think it's Gedston once again there in second place for Sweden with the Saab. It is surely, yes, the Saab 900 Turbo 16 valve in second place, but it's got Paul Coney breathing all over it. Paul Coney was really, really challenging. Ireland for Kevin Sherry really need a good result here, but at the moment Kevin's well down the order. And what's happened? Surely we got Paul Coney in second place, have we? No, yes, we have. Paul Coney is now second. Oh, this is terrific for the UK. Paul Coney going very, very well indeed. Czechoslovakia well out of this one with the BMW. That's way down the order at the moment, so the Czechs not having a good run in this one. Once again, though, it's the familiar story up front of Norway, looking to pick up another maximum 33 points from their Division 1 cars in the second qualifying heats. Skogstad it is in this, the 9th race of the 1992 Internations Cup. Bjorn Skogstad, man who's moving over to Division 2 next year. Will he be driving for Norway in Division 2 next year? Where will the Internations Cup be next year? Lots of changes taking place in the machinery front, but what a great drive coming here from Paul Coney. He really is driving his heart out. Denmark are going well there in 4th place, and it looks as though we may have got to Germany, I think, with Norbert Kroos not far away. Norbert Kroos, I think, up into 5th position. That's one of the best results so far for the German team. Just ahead of Kevin Sherry. But that's the gap between the leaders, and this is Paul Coney, and he is going superbly well. Paul Coney is very, very secure. Sweden are being left behind. There comes Denmark with Schmorn Jacques Lorentzen. There's number 75 going through there. That is Norbert Kroos for Germany, the host nation. But it's still Bjorn Skogstad, able to take whatever line he likes around this circuit. I must say the Nurburgring looks a pretty useful circuit to me. First time we've seen it in international rallycross here on Screen Sport. But it's a really good run coming up for this man, Bjorn Skogstad. Skogstad coming through, doing everything he has to do, and one has to hang their hats off to the Norwegian team. They really have gone superbly well in this Division 1 category. Stands, as you can see, not totally full, but could accommodate 20,000 more spectators than we've got. But 25,000 is a pretty useful crowd here at the Nurburgring, and they're watching Bjorn Skogstad taking 11 points there for the Norwegian team in race number 9. But there surely is Paul Coney's race of his life, I would think. He must be absolutely delighted with that, and acknowledging the cheers that are coming up from the British contingent here, I'm sure. But there we have our leader, and we can see now that the Norwegians have extended that to a very useful advantage now over the Britons, who are now second, and Denmark still in 5th position, but there's only 3 points between the battle for the elusive 5th place as we go to heat number 10, and we go back to the Division 2 cars. Number 61, Pavel Novacek with the Mazda 323 for Czechoslovakia. Finn Jespersen surely on the back of the grid, of course. He didn't have a very good result in the first heat, so that's put him on the back of the grid. We've got Ollie Arneson in this one as well. Dennis Biggerstaff is in there for Ireland. Let's see what he can do. And Pat Duran, oh, they're all making a good start. Yes, they are, and Norway are only in 4th at the moment. Norway are in 4th. That's good for Britain, because Britain leads it. And it's Pat Duran again coming through. Pat looking for his second victory of the afternoon. The RS200, Arneson's the danger man in second place. Dennis Biggerstaff going very well for Ireland. This is going to be good for Ireland. This is where Ireland are going to make their challenge for a top 5 position, I would think, in the second qualifying heats. But it's Pat Duran leading Ole Arneson. This is just what the British team wanted, to see Britain up front and Norway some way down the order. And Terry Morstead not going as well here as he did on that first run, but still there in 4th place, I believe. There's Dennis Biggerstaff. Yes, there's Norway in 4th place. It's between those 4. Those 4 nations are well clear of the rest of the pack now. So fluctuating fortunes in these categories. You can see how strong Norway are in Division 1. You can see how strong Britain is in Division 2. You can see how strong the Czechoslovakians are relatively in Division 1. Sweden looking to be a relatively good balanced team. And of course Ireland as well are looking for their main honours in Division 2. 81 going through there. That's Georgi Foda in his Porsche for the Hungarian team. But Pat Durant still holding the advantage up front. Dennis Biggerstaff going well there for Ireland. And well clear of Norway. And of course the other good thing of this is that the Norwegian isn't going to get a very good grid position on the third runs, is he, for this fourth place? So that's again another factor that's working in favour of the United Kingdom team. But Arneson can never be underestimated. A man with so much success, so much experience in Europe. One of, if not the most experienced driver in Europe at this particular event, I would think. Former winner of the Grand Prix at Brands Hatch, former European champion. And a nice guy, and a credit to the sport, Ole Arneson. Coming away then for the Swedish team. Just think what Sweden could be doing if they'd got all of their top guns here this afternoon. As we get, I think Jespersen in troubles there. There's Fodor, a glimpse of his Porsche about to exit stage right. And Pat Durand getting in with the back markers. So the Hungarians not having a good run, and they haven't got their top man. Laszlo Marusi, I would have thought, would have been here for Hungary this afternoon, but he isn't. So no joy for Hungary in that sense, but a lot of joy for Britain as they take a victory there with Sweden second. Ireland get third. That should put them in the top 5 now. There comes Norway, can only make 4th place. I think it was 4th there for Norway because it was a lapped car. And we can see Langenberg going well for, there's 33 going through. That's Mark van der Putten for the Belgian team. But there we see it, after 10 races, Norway leading, Britain second, Sweden, Czechoslovakia and Ireland are now into 3rd place. Who will be in the top 5 when we go to the final? See us in the second part of this event. You would imagine the most disappointed nation at the moment of Belgium, which have previously figured very strongly in this contest, and there is the Belgian driver in this particular race, number 32, Mark Verrek, 102, Hans de Pas for the Netherlands, the first time we've seen the Netherlands in this. This is race number 11, and indeed the car we've just been riding around the track with, Barry Squibb, nicely warmed up, and Squibb it is, leading them away. Barry Squibb leads, and in second place is Bertil Persson for Sweden. Then comes Hans de Pas, behind him John Maloney for Ireland, and Norway are some way down at the moment. But it is indeed. Oh, it isn't. Oh, no, we've got Barry Squibb in troubles. Oh dear, Barry Squibb into the first corner, virtually his car retiring, and into the lead now goes Sweden, and John Maloney coming up very strong for the Irish. John Maloney from Limerick through into second place, Hans de Pas in 3rd. Behind them Mark Verrek for Belgium. But it is Bertil Persson with one of the 2 Audi Quattros from the Swedish team, number 202, heading them away. John Maloney in second place. Then comes the Netherlands, and I know the Dutch team relying very, very heavily upon Hans de Pas, their top international rallycross driver at the present time in Division 2. And Hans there with the British prepared car there in 3rd place, but going rather wide there, but still retaining that lead past the abandoned car of Barry Squibb, his own race leader, Bertil Persson. John Maloney still second for Ireland. Then comes Hans de Pas, still in 3rd place. Behind them, Mark Verrek. And talking to John Maloney, John was saying, yes, the Irish have got a reputation for coming along for the crack. Well, yeah, we're still here for that, but we really believe we can get into that top 3 in this event. We're really here having a go this time, and certainly John is indeed doing that with the 3.8 Goodman's powered Metro 6R4, a car that in fact he is now trying to sell. He's put it onto the market. As we've got troubles for Hans de Pas, I can say, oh dear, the Dutchman say we're relying heavily on a good result here from Hans, but there's problems there for the likeable Dutchman. He's dropped there right back down behind. I think that might be one of the Portuguese cars there. He's because Portugal are in this race, and that man is out of it, and that indeed is Barry Squibb. Commiserations to the Torquay Hotelier. Let's hope that they can get that car going again. Meantime, there we see number 71 going through, Pete Ahlers for the German team, but this is our race leader for Sweden, Bertil Persson from John Maloney. And remember, 11 nations contesting the event, so the winner of each heat gets 11 points. And then we go down to last position. At the moment, that looks like Barry Squibb, who will get 2 points, because in fact there were only 10 nations actually starting this particular race. Close up through there of Hans de Pass with the Will Gollop prepared car picking his way past the back markers. Coming up there through past number 71 from the host nation, Pete Arles with the VW Golf. But this is the battle for the lead, and John Maloney getting in quick. John Maloney getting right in there. But at the flag, it is Bertil Persson taking this one. I don't know where Norway are in this one. Norway some way back, I think. As we get Hans de Pass recovering quickly. Rest of the field coming through. And indeed, John Maloney then taking second place, but Bertil Persson the winner of that one. As we move on to race number 12, Will Gollop down there on pole position. On the centre we can see Dermot Carnegie for Ireland. On the outside is Thor Holm for Norway, but nearest to the camera, the bi-turbo 6R4 of Will Gollop, which should go into the lead of this one, I would think. Will coming through, Thor Holm into second place, third place for Ireland. Jos Sturkens coming up into fourth for the Belgians. And like Hans de Pass, the top man for the Netherlands, I would think the Belgians are looking for Jos Sturkens to take a good result here with the 4x4 turbo Fiesta. But meantime, it's these Group B cars which are dominating this race at the moment, and the 600 plus horsepower being delivered by the 6-cylinder V6 bi-turbo Cliff Humphreys prepared engine in the Will Gollop car. He's keeping him in front, but Thor Holm with the 4-cylinder mid-engined turbo RS200 hanging on in there very, very closely. They're beginning to get away a bit now from the normally aspirated 3.5 6R4 there of Dubliner Dermot Carnegie. But this is Will Gollop looking to take 11 points here for the United Kingdom team. Norway, though, still with that advantage up front, can afford to take second place in this one, although I would think it would be a good morale booster for Thor Holm. He's been following Will Gollop around the tracks of Europe this year far more often than he would wish, I think. He would like to lead Will Gollop. There is number 72 going through, Pete Steinmaster with the BMW for the German team. The Germans not too strong, unfortunately, in car strength. Maybe when the rules change next year and we get the new look machines coming into Rallycross, the Germans will certainly pick up. I would like to see that. But it's good to see this event taking place in Germany for the first time in its history. And the Nurburgring hosting this 11-nation contest. As the Germans, unfortunately, in trouble. Number 72, Peter Steinmaster, pulling off there. As just to the left of him goes this battle for the lead, still being headed by Will Gollop, but Will not letting... or not getting away from Holm, but at the flag, Holm slowing dramatically just at the flag, and a lapped car there, which the little Skoda favourite of the Czechoslovakians, been taken by Dermot Carnegie in third place. Jos Sturkens coming through into fourth, and let's see what that's done. Well, Britain have brought that down now. They're only 6 points behind Norway, but only 2 points ahead of Sweden. Ireland have clawed their way back into fourth place ahead of Czechoslovakia. And Denmark are the team that just outside the top 5 at the moment. There is 66, the highly talented Pavel Kotny from the Czechoslovakian team. This is Paul Coney with the Tetley T Fuji Camera's little Vauxhall Nova, one of the 3 Vauxhall Novas representing the Great Britain team here in the Group A category this afternoon. But it is indeed Opland making a great start for Norway. Czechoslovakia in second place, and I can see there in third place we have indeed got Rob Coates. Rob is holding a good, strong third place. Remember the power that he is giving away to these big Sierra Cosworths. There's a good 500 brake coming from the lead car there, I would think. Two-wheel drive, of course, at the moment, remember, in the Division 1 category. Peter Kramer, I can see, in fourth place for the Netherlands. That's a good run for Peter Kramer. Peter, the top Division 1 car for the Netherlands. But this is Ivan Opland coming away, leading the Czechoslovakian Paul Kotny with his Sierra Cosworth, and we can see Peter Kramer now third, Rob Coates is fourth. But there is once again the immaculate car of Ivan Opland. Car totally prepared by Ivan's team themselves, and this talented man used to drive Volvos before they were excluded, well, the homologation lapsed, of course, on the big Volvo turbos, and he was forced to move over to a different car, and it was, of course, like many other Scandinavians, he chose the Sierra Cosworth route, a route that was really pioneered in European rallycross by British driver Trevor Reeves and Ron Hudson. But there's Peter Kramer coming through. Peter Kramer just ahead there of number 76, and that indeed is lineman for the German team. Listed as a BMW, but that looks more like an Opel to me. Rob Coates dropping back though. Rob Coates dropping a long way back. I think there might be a problem for Rob Coates. Looking to see where Ireland were. Noel Farrell representing Ireland in this race. Noel Farrell making up a position there, I believe, but we watch our race leader coming away here. Norway once again looking to take another maximum 11 points for this. The worrying thing is what's happening to Rob Coates. He appears to be dropping down the order after that very good start. And it's not looking at all good for the British team at the moment, with the retirement for Barry Squibb, and looks like problems for Rob Coates in this race. Let's hope that neither of those problems are terminal, because we really do need those 6 cars to keep up this challenge on Norway. Containing the Norwegians very, very well, but Norway take 11 points there in that one. Second place is going to go to Czechoslovakia. Another good run for the Czechoslovakians with the Sierra Cosworth. Third place, and one of the best results to date, comes for the Dutch team there with Peter Kramer. There is 2:06 going through in 5th place, Bernd Schumann for Sweden. So Sweden losing out a bit there in this one. And behind Schumann, we find the Hungarian Toth coming through. Rob Coates is down in 7th place, and I think with a problem. So Norway now, oh, they are getting a long way clear. Norway now to full 12 points clear. Great Britain still 3rd. Welcome back then to the Nurburgring for heat number 14. They're on the pole position, Bjorn Skogstad for Norway. There's the Mick Bird car representing Great Britain, the Vauxhall Nova for the Midhurst man, number 26. Mick will be looking for a good result here if he can. 2:05 there. That is the Swedish car of Bjorn Olsen, the Saab 900 Turbo, 16 valve. Only lady driver in the Internations Cup here this weekend is Anne Janssens for Belgium. The start line marshal, they're just checking her grid sheet was right, and it's Schaefer making a good start for Czechoslovakia. He was the initial leader. Czechoslovakia again showing very, very well in Division 1. There is Mick Bird coming through. Not the best of starts for Mick Bird, but up there now Mick Bird, car number 26. Mick's first full season back into rallycross after a 10-year break, but this is Skogstad. In second place it is Schaefer. Just trying to pick up there who was in 3rd place. I think it might have been Sweden. This is Bjorn Skogstad with the Camel Sierra. Way through that chicane, yes, Sweden in 3rd. Mick Bird is indeed 4th. Then I think it's Norbert Kruse for the host nation, Germany, with the Golf in 5th place. But Mick Bird having a look now for 4th. Kruse just there behind him. Kevin Sherry in this one for the Irish team with the 16-valve Golf. Haven't seen Kevin at the moment, the Mondello Park Group A champion, but this is very much the man to beat from Norway at the present time in this division, Bjorn Skogstad. Member of that victorious Norwegian team at Croft back in 1990. There, I think, is Kevin Sherry going through. Yes, Kevin Sherry going through there, number 46, with the Hella car. And this is somebody getting very, very crossed up, and Eddie Lauman's running for his life there. That indeed was Anne Janssens, our only lady driver, and I don't know what our friend Mr. Lauman has got to say about lady drivers at that point in time, but she avoided him, or he avoided her, whichever way you like to put it. But this man is avoiding everyone, it seems, including all the other competitors in the race, and that is Bjorn Skogstad. Skoggy well in command of this one. Very talented man, of course. And there is another retirement, number 106. That's the Peugeot 405 of Ad Bugard from the Netherlands. And yet another one out. That's Bjorn Olsen from Sweden. Well, they're really falling out at the moment. Number 95 going through. That's Torquato Lopez with his Peugeot from the Portuguese team. Another team contesting this event for the first time, and delighted to see that Portugal are here. Portugal becoming very, very much a part of the European international rallycross scene these days. But there's Mick Bird coming through, and I can tell you Mick Bird has taken 3rd place there. Kevin Sherry coming up, he's going to be 5th. He couldn't quite make it. Norbert Kruse taken 4th place for Germany. So Germany getting one of their better results. Let's see what the point standing is now. Netherlands are the best, along with Germany, of those out of the top 5 at the moment. But Britain are back in second place, ahead of Sweden. Czechoslovakia still there in 4th. Poor old Hungary with a very weak team at the moment, propping everybody up. On pole, we have Ludwig Hunsmet. There is Paul County. There is number 204. That's Gidston Saab. Very similar car to the one we've just seen Olsen driving, but it is a familiar story. There's the Norwegians going away from pole position and leading this one, and up into second place I think may have come the car from Jan van Elderen for the Belgian team. I think Belgium are now in second place, but it's 16 up in front, and that is the Statoil BMW M3 of Ludwig Hunsmet from Norway. Ludwig, he leads it. Who is second? And Paul County's through into second place. Oh, a terrific drive coming here from the former mini-cross champion, the reigning Vauxhall Nova Challenge champion here in the UK. And it's Paul County driving a superb race. He's in second place at the moment. But surely there's nothing he can do about this man, Ludwig Hunsmet, with this very, very well-sorted BMW M3. He leads it, but Paul County driving a great race there in the Western Spiper car in second place. And this is Hunsmet getting very, very sideways, and he's lost it. Hunsmet has lost it, and County is coming through to take the lead. Paul County leads it. Van Elderen, he's gone into second place. Hunsmet's recovering very, very quickly. Hunsmet's down into 4th place now, but Paul County leads it for the British team. Well, this is really a big, big bonus. Van Elderen is still there in second place. I think it might be another one. It might be Jaap van Tol in there as well with his Sierra Cosworth between him and Hunsmet. Let's just see what happens, but Hunsmet making up a place here. He is recovering very, very quickly. Of course, Norway can really afford to give away 1 or 2 points here. Britain most desperately needs them, and Paul County is giving it the works now. The little Vauxhall Nova Challenge car, which Paul County has now, of course, forsaken in British Rallycross. He's now up into the Division 3 category, but this is his Nova Challenge car, and he is still leading as being a battle of the Sierra Cosworth going on there behind them. Bit of bodywork damage going on. I could see Jacques Lorenzen making good advantage of that. But here is the battle for the lead now, and Hunsmet is closed right in on Paul County. Hunsmet looking on the inside of Paul County, but Paul County still holding that advantage as they come away off the loose. A very, very small bit of tarmac there. Then back onto the loose once again. And County still with the advantage from Ludwig Hunsmet. And Ludwig driving his heart out here now to get the BMW back. And this is where you're having a look. Hunsmet having a look on the outside as they go into that left-hand flick. He can't do it there. And there we can see more troubles and another broken Saab as Paul County comes through. Where is Hunsmet? Where is he? Oh, Hunsmet has gone as well. No, he isn't. There he is. He must have had another problem off camera. We didn't see that, but Hunsmet has made obviously a bit of a hash getting through that chicane and dropped back, and Paul County now beginning to look fairly secure. And again, Hunsmet gets very sideways as Denmark come out pretty strongly there, just ahead of Oliver Sass from the German team. Then number 64 in there as well, I can see. That was Pavishek from the Czechoslovakian team with his BMW, but the cheers are going up, and Paul County is getting a lot of support here from the crowd. The British spectators who are over are obviously cheering him on, as I would imagine are a lot more, because everybody loves to see a giant killing act, and that is just what you're seeing here, because this man, Hunsmet, as we know, is a very top contender from Europe. And at the moment, Paul County, in what has to be rated, I suppose, as his first ever true international event, is leading him as Jacques Lorenzen goes through, still chased there by the German Oliver Sass. But this is Paul County's diminutive little Vauxhall Nova coming away, and he takes 11 points there for the British team, and he will be over the moon. Hunsmet was second. And then coming through in 3rd place, we've got Jan van Elderen, Bjorn-Jacques Lorenzen. He's driving a good race there into 4th place ahead of Oliver Sass. Yes, he gets to the hell of Oliver Sass, but this is Paul County, and it must be his greatest moment. And the British team hang on. They are hanging on. And you can hear the applause in the background being acknowledged there by this likeable young man from Dartford. Oh, that must be the most popular win so far in this particular event. Well done, Paul. So can fellow Kentish driver Pat Duran emulate him? But there he was, and there he is, but quickly moving across the grid here. There we are, we're back with Pat Duran, then it's Q8 Oils. RS200 taken on Thorholm. John Maloney for Ireland going away strongly as well. But who's coming to second place? It's Arneson's into second place. Pat's in 3rd. Hans de Pass is 4th. Ireland are down in 5th. And a big change up the front here now, because it is now Norway leading, and Pat Duran getting it all wrong. Hitting the course marking tyres, coming back onto the track and causing havoc behind him. Everybody going all over the place here. There's Pat coming back into the thick of the action. So Pat Duran right down there now behind some of the lower nations in the contest on points. There goes Hungary through. A photo with his Porsche, but we're on board now, and a replay of the Pat Duran incident. Pat coming down. You can see one hand on the wheel, one hand on the gear stick as he's about to go through the gears. But as he comes down here, things go all wrong, and Mr. Duran thinks perhaps I ought to get two hands on that steering wheel and let's try and sort it all out. And this is what he's trying to do. Now I can't see where I'm going. All right, a minute, let's get the wash wipe system going. Pat's back in the thick of it again. Visibility not too good through that windscreen, as you can see. It's also been hit by some of the stones around here. Nice crack right at the point where Pat would probably be wanting to look through it, but vision is now pretty good, and Pat's back on his way with the RS 200, overtaking cars left, right and centre, going past Novacek's Mazda there. But this is race leader Thor Holm. Arneson in second place for Sweden. There comes John Maloney in third place. John Maloney still leading Pat Duran. Big John there still with the advantage. So I was saying earlier, he's now put the 6R4 on the market. I know what his new car is, but I'm not going to tell you because he hasn't made it public knowledge yet, and so we'll keep the secret. All should be revealed when we go to Belgium for the resumption of the European Championship. But meantime, John Maloney getting away a little bit from Pat Duran. Back onto the tarmac. This is where the RS 200 comes through his own. Oh, and he goes through, and he's overcooked it. He's overcooked it going into the corner. Pat Duran, well, I will not make too much comment about that one, but Pat really overcooked it going into that corner. No doubt about that. And having a fairly eventful race here, but smooth and calm and cool and collected as ever up front. That is Thor Holm. Just wondering where Arneson is. Arneson should be still in second place. There he is coming through past one of the back markers. That, I think, is Pete Ahlers from the German team with his troubled VW Golf, being lapped very shortly by Ole Arneson from Sweden. And the Swedes, I'm sure, delighted that they are up in front of Britain in this battle for second place at the moment between Britain and Sweden. Arneson it is, coming away with the Audi Quattro Sport. Still hasn't found a way past Ahlers' little Golf. But doing so now, through, but there's no way that he's going to get with the race leader, Thor Holm. As you can see, the gap is very, very large. And Thor Holm it is, coming through now, well in command of this one. We're back with Pat Duran. Pat going to take third place with the RS 200. You really can see from this picture just how hard these drivers have to work in here. Battling to keep it on the racing line, up and down through the gearbox all the time. One wonders if we shall get automatic transmissions into Rallycross, allowing them to keep two hands basically on the wheel while they fight the car. That would surely be an advantage. That may come in the future, but in the present time we've got Pat coming through in third place, but it was Thor Holm who took it, and that has increased Norway's advantage up front. As you can see now, it is quite a comfortable lead. Sweden third, Czechoslovakia and Ireland, those five nations, the only ones to have took the 100-point mark at the moment. So, as we go into race 17, just two more qualifying heats to come. We have Bertil Persson for Sweden. We have Dermot Carnegie for Ireland. There is number 12, and that indeed is Terry Maudstad. And I can tell you that Barry Squibb should have been in this race, but Barry is a non-starter, so Britain are not going to score any points in this race at all. So it's a bad, bad one for the English team. And who is leading it? Well, it's the Irish doing the British a bit of a favour here, as well as themselves at the moment, because it's Dermot Carnegie from down near Dublin and coming away, leading this one from Terry Maudstad. Then we can see Mark Marek there in fourth place. Number 63 going through is one of the Czechoslovakians running a Sierra Cosworth in the Division 2 category. But let's see who comes over the brow of this hill first. It is indeed this highly talented man from just south of Dublin, where he's a sand and gravel merchant by profession, so he should feel quite at home on the loose sections here of the Nurburgring. He is, of course, also the All-Irish Rallycross champion, and, of course, he is a former master of the art of auto testing. But these days, Dermot is very much the man to beat in Irish Rallycross, and seemingly the man to beat in European Rallycross here at the moment, as we follow Bertil Persson through there with the Audi Quattro. There were whispers at the end of last year that Bertil was going to take over the ex-Herbie Brighton car, but of course that never materialised. I'm sure he would have loved the power of that car here now, but meantime, Dermot Carnegie looking a very happy man as he comes through to take a victory for Ireland, and that'll do the Irish a power of good. Who is going to be second? And Maudstad did just hang on. Persson was third, Mark Verreck fourth for the Belgian team, and the points at the end of this one, Norway now 162 from Britain's 135. And you join us with nearest to camera, 31, Jos Sturkens from Belgium, 53 in there. That is Erik Lindberg, Denmark. There is Will Gollop for the British team, and Dennis Biggerstaff for the Irish team. And these two men, are we watching the British champion-elect following the reigning British champion at the moment? Because Dennis Biggerstaff, remember, is currently leading the British Championship with one more round to go. And Will Gollop, of course, is the man who won it last year. So, in third place, Jos Sturkens. The Norway are down in fourth at the moment with Kjetil Bolneset. Kjetil Bolneset there with the X-Track. We haven't seen too much of Kjetil this year. One drive, of course, with the Martin Skanker RS200, but this is the first time we've seen him on our screens with his faithful ex-John Welch X-Track. This is Will Gollop then coming away. Dennis Biggerstaff in second place with the 3.8 normally aspirated Metro 6R4, taken on the smaller capacity but bi-turbo versioned car of Will Gollop. Jos Sturkens still doing a good job there for Belgium and keeping the Norwegians down into third place. Yes, flicks through there, still in third place. As 21, Will Gollop comes on his way. Well clear now of Dennis Biggerstaff. Dennis Biggerstaff from Dramara in County Down, representing an all-Irish team here this afternoon. 4 drivers from the Republic, 2 from Northern Ireland, and a good scrap going on here now for third place. And it looks as though Kjetil's through. Yes, Kjetil Bolneset through now into third place from Jos Sturkens. Sweden are down in 5th place at the moment with Anderson with his Volvo 360. But a victory for Will Gollop. Will Gollop taking that one from Dennis Biggerstaff. Norway in third. There is the Belgian car in 4th place, so that's allowed Britain to claw its way back a little bit. Looking pretty secure in the 2nd place. And there now you can see the top 5 nations. The top 5, they are the nations that are going to go forward to the finals. Belgium not making the finals, but Czechoslovakia have. Tremendous achievement by the Czechoslovakians, and we're straight into those finals. Ludwig Hunsbeth leading this one, and I have to tell you more bad news here for the British team. There is no sign of the Vauxhall Nova of Rob Coates in this race, so it looks as though Rob's had a problem that's not replaceable or repairable even. He's going to get 5 points, because yes, you do get 5 points for coming last if you don't start. Just 5 cars in each race, 1 from each nation of the top 5 teams that have made it through. And for Ireland in this one, we have Kevin Sherry, and there is Kevin at the moment in 3rd place. Kevin Sherry, but a familiar sight once again of Ludwig Hunsbeth getting his confidence back after that amazing defeat by Paul Coney. And he's back there, commanding the situation now for the Norwegians. 25 points to the winner of this one, and then it goes down 20, 15, 10 and 5. That's the point scoring in the finals. And the grids for the finals are decided upon basically by the team managers. They decide which car they're going to put into which final. And it's obviously a bit of a cat and mouse game between the various team managers to decide which car you should put into which race to try and get maximum points. And at the moment, I would imagine that Tony Watts and the British team are thinking to themselves, the situation that we're in at the moment is we can see a problem there for the Swedish team, and that's Carlson's Gedsten Saab pulling off. I would think the British team are thinking to themselves, at the moment we're 2 cars down, we're really looking more to defend 2nd place rather than attack the Norwegians. So what we've really got to do is to try and make sure that Ollie Arneson, who is the Swedish drivers, or the Swedish team's top man, we've got to make sure that Arneson doesn't get maximum points. And how they're going to go about doing that, I don't know. They've got to try and decide which race the Swedish team manager will put Arneson in, and then they've got to put either Pat Duran or Will Gollop in there in the hope of keeping Sweden back. I don't know if that'll work. We just have to wait and see. If on the other hand, of course, they were trying to catch the Norwegians in this situation, they would probably be saying to themselves, well, we want Arneson to win and try and beat the Norwegians. But anyway, in that one, the Norwegians did win it because the checkered flag has been taken, and we can see that only 3 cars have made it through to the finish, and it's Pavel Czech taking it for Czechoslovakia in 2nd place. So the Czechs putting 5 between themselves and Ireland there as they come up into third place. Czechoslovakia now into third. It really, I know I keep saying this, but it is marvellous to see these lads from Eastern Europe doing so well. Right, we're coming then to the C final for the Division 2 cars. Pat Duran races for the United Kingdom team. There he is. We've got Thorholm for Britain. We've got Big John Maloney for Ireland. We've got Anderson in there with the Volvo for Sweden, and Novotny with the Skoda Favorit for Czechoslovakia. And that's the way they come, and Thorholm is the man up front at the moment. Thorholm leading this one from Pat Duran, John Maloney in third place for Ireland. Well, this is a race that Britain would obviously want to win. Ireland would want to win it as well if they could, because Ireland should, I think, get an advantage back over the Czechoslovakians in this one. And it's a terrific cat and mouse game going on here for the second and third battle and the fourth and fifth battle. And now it's Pat Duran going into the lead. Pat Duran going into the lead in that chicane. Once again, he takes Thorholm. Thor hanging on in there with him, though, but Pat Duran leads it, but Thorholm getting it back again. Thorholm gets it back, and Pat has dearranged the front bodywork on the Q8 Oils car, but it doesn't seem to be causing too much problem. But oh yes, that smoke, I think, is coming from a tyre rubbing on the bodywork. But the big man from Walderslade is hanging on in there. Pat Duran still in second place. Thorholm, though, is the leader for Norway. But the important thing at the moment for the British team is that they are in second place and they are well clear of Sweden. That is important for them at the moment. Ireland are doing well. They're well clear of Czechoslovakia. So they'll be wanting to hang on to this if they possibly can. You can see that the Nurburgring is a little bit stony-fied on the loose sections, and we did hear in our first programme, of course, when we had an in-car camera on the Novas, you could really hear that surface pounding up under the undertray of the cars. But pounding up behind Thorholm at the moment is Pat Duran, and that problem with the tyre doesn't seem to be causing any problems, and Pat's confidence, I think, is coming back. Let's just hope for the British contingent that it doesn't cause a puncture. And Pat Duran coming all the way round the outside of Thorholm. That was an absolutely superb drive from Pat Duran, right the way round the outside of the Norwegian, and as he goes past Thorholm, so he extends that advantage. But now he's gone wide, and Thor's taken the title line and coming back to have a look on the inside, but no, Pat has got sufficient momentum to keep him up front. And Pat Duran getting away a little bit now from Thorholm. These two have left John Maloney some way back down there in third place, but that is a big problem there for Pat Duran. That must be causing him concern. And let's just hope that that tyre holds up, but Thorholm can sense it, and I should have mentioned Thorholm can smell it as well. The rubber smoke coming from the RS200 on occasions. And as he closes right in again on the British driver, Pat Duran, though, still holding that advantage. The Q8 Oils car not looking quite as immaculate as it did at the start of this programme. The cars really are a credit to the drivers in Rallycross these days. They really do keep the image up very well indeed. And as we come down, it is still Pat Duran. He looks as though he's going to take those 25 points. Norway are going to get 20. Norway are going to retain their lead, of course. But this is going to keep Britain a little bit clear of that battle with Sweden for second place. And Pat it is, coming through to take a maximum score here for the English team, the British team, whatever you prefer to call it. And the man who is likes to be called a London Irishman coming through then, and Pat Duran takes it for the British team. Second place is Thorholm, and the crowd showing their appreciation of a good drive there from Pat Duran. John Maloney third for the Irish contingent, keeping them well in the hunt. Let's see where the Irish are up to third now. Oh, that's good. Ireland are up to third, but Norway still headed from Great Britain. Number 44 is the first car we see as you rejoin us, and that was Ed Colton with a somewhat well-worn Irish Peugeot. That's number 14, Opland, on the pole position as we go into the B final then for the Division 1 cars, and Opland is the man up front. Opland leads this one. Ivan Opland well clear there. It's Cotney in second place for Czechoslovakia. Mick Bird in this one for Great Britain. There he is down in fourth place at the moment, Mick Bird. Behind him we can see Ed Colton. So this is where the Czechoslovakians are coming strong again, and of course, needless to say, it's Norway up front. Norway leading this one. Good battle going on there for second place. Sweden coming up now. Bernd Schumann, yes, Bernd Schumann through for second place for Sweden. Czechoslovakia down into third. Mick Bird still in fourth. Ed Colton still fifth for the Irish. And that's the way they go through at the end of that lap. And through the chicane now, we can still see, though, that it is Opland up front. Opland having a very easy ride in this one. Bernd Schumann, a regular contestant in the German National Championship, or the German International Championship, perhaps I should say, knows the German circuits very well. Former track record holder at the Estering up near Hamburg. He's coming away in second place, really throwing the dust up there as we get that nice long shot of the cars coming through. But it is still Schumann in second place. Czechoslovakia there in third with Kotny. Mick Bird in fourth. Mick Bird trying to get in now onto the heels of the Czechoslovakians, Sierra Cosworth, leaving Ed Colton a wee bit behind. The two Irish Peugeots, of course, are basically Group A rally cars, and they are perhaps carrying quite a lot more weight than the average rallycross car, but there at the end of it we can see that it was indeed a victory for Opland. Second place went to Schumann, and Mick Bird makes it into fourth place. So it's 10 points there for the UK, which keeps them in second place and keeps them well clear of Sweden. As we come to the Division 2 B final, with Will Gollop in this one, taking on Arneson. Well, Will Gollop it is. Will Gollop away. Dermot Carnegie in second place. Third place is Ole Arneson. Norway are down in fourth. And then the Sierra of the Czechoslovakians coming through in last slot. So the good early heats of Terry Morstead not really being followed up in the final here at the moment. And Will Gollop literally is flying away from everybody. Gollop on the gallop here through that chicane. Dermot Carnegie still second place. Arneson trying to get up into third. But Dermot doing a good job here for his country, and a good job for the British as well, because he's keeping Sweden down in third place. Norway can only make fourth. And Ole Arneson literally flying there over the yump, trying to get on terms with Dermot Carnegie. But Dermot's a cool, calm and collected customer. He won't be at all worried by the attentions of Ole there behind him. And I must say that this Internations Cup, it really does bring out the very best in rallycross drivers. I think you get 6 drivers from one nation, all rooting for each other, and you get very good competitive rivalry between the teams. And I think you'll agree with me that we've seen very little forceful driving in this event. Very good event, very good spirit throughout the meeting, and a unique event in rallycross, the Internations Cup. And Will Gollop there takes 25 points for the British team as he wins that B final. Dermot takes 20 for Ireland, and the Swedish team can only get 15 there, and that's got Sweden back almost in the clutches of the Irish. They're only 5 points away from a third place now as we come to the Division 1 A final, and we can see that it's Skogstad leading them away. Paul Coney's in this one for Great Britain, and Paul Coney's there in third place trying to do another giant killing act. And the man in front of him at the moment is Miroslav Schaefer for Czechoslovakia. Noel Farrell's in here for Ireland with the Peugeot. He's down in last slot at the moment, and Paul Coney's having a look for second place. Paul Coney having a look on the inside of Schaefer's. Sierra Cosworth, can he do it? No, he can't. And it is the Czechoslovakian hanging on by the skin of his teeth to that second place. Skogstad, as you can see, is still leading it. The real battle is on for that second place. Paul Coney trying to do another giant killing act here with the little Vauxhall Nova. Schaefer hanging on in there with the Sierra Cosworth. Behind them we can see Noel Farrell at some distance. Olsen's in this one for Sweden somewhere, but we haven't seen much of him at the moment. We're concentrating on this battle for the second place between Paul Coney and Miroslav Schaefer, the man who's doing a full European season this year. His new car replacing the rear-wheel drive, rear-engine Skoda that he previously drove, and of course the Skoda that he previously drove when he represented the Czechoslovakia in the Internations Cup. But now it's Paul Coney having another look on the inside there. Couldn't quite do it, but really he is putting all kinds of pressure here now onto the Czechoslovakian. Skogstad still leads it. hear the wastegate whistles on the Sierra Cosworth turbos as they go past our camera. But now Paul Coney's right. Oh, and he couldn't get any closer than that, could he? He is right in there, reminding the Czechoslovakian as if Miroslav needed any reminding that I'm there and I'm going to have a go and I'm going to get second place out of this if I possibly can. Paul Coney driving an absolutely super race, but Schaefer it is still with the advantage. Coney hangs on in. On the twisty bits, on the loose bits, that's where Coney really gets in there with the Sierra Cosworth. But, oh dear, there's problems and Coney is pulling off. Oh, it's all over. Paul Coney has lost it, and there you can see the young man from Dartford pulling off. And I'm sure that many hearts have sunk around the Nurburgring, not least of all this highly talented young man, Paul Coney, as he gets out of the Nova. The problems we can't see. It looks as though it's an engine failure, but commiserations there and applause for what the enthusiastic and knowledgeable crowd know was a good drive. But Skogstad takes it. And in second place there, we've got Miroslav Schaefer. Czechoslovakia getting a good result there. Sweden come home in third place with Bjorn Olsen, and Noel Farrell takes fourth for the Irish. And what's that done? Well, we've got Czechoslovakia down to fifth place now. And as Bjorn Skogstad celebrates, is absolutely no doubt now, with one more race to go, that Norway have taken this one. It is still mathematically possible, though, for Sweden to pip Great Britain. It is possible. It can be done. And let's see what happens. Right, here they come. There's no British driver in this one, remember. No Barry Squibb here. Dennis Biggerstaff coming away for the Irish, getting a couple of wheels on the grass. Oh, and Dennis getting in there on the grass. And in the meantime, it's Norway up front. Norway leading this one. Norway leading it from Sweden. So it's Bertil Persson in there in second place. Dennis Biggerstaff in third. And this is a race that Bertil Persson has got to win if Sweden want to take second place. So, at the moment, everybody here in the British camp are obviously cheering for Norway. Strange as it may seem, but that's what they must be doing, because if Bolnaset can keep Sweden at bay, Britain will retain their second place in the contest. So, Kjetil Bolnaset in the ex-John Welch car with its John Minty repaired engine, doing everything he has to do. There goes number 61 through. That's Pavel Novacek with the Mazda for the Czechoslovakians, and they're putting one over Dennis Biggerstaff, and it sounds as though Dennis Biggerstaff is running on about 3 cylinders. I think he's lost one bank of the V6 engine, and that's a great shame for the Irish. That may cost the Irish dearly in these two battles that are still being resolved in this race. We know now that Norway are going to win this one. The contest, that is, but the battle is on for who is going to be second. Will it be Britain? Will it be Sweden? And who is going to be fourth? Will it be Czechoslovakia? Will it be Ireland? And if this positions up front can be retained through to the flag, then Kjetil Bolnaset is not only going to take 25 points for the Norwegians, he's going to keep the Swedes down to 20, and that will just about do it for Great Britain to keep into second place. And at the moment, Bertil Persson is not making any impression at all upon Bolnaset. Just quite happy to stay there, about 2 cars lengths behind. And Kjetil Bolnaset, this talented little man from Oslo, going away then. Yeah, there you can hear the awful sounds coming from the Dennis Biggerstaff car. That's going to cost Ireland really dearly. I think it may put them down behind the Czechoslovakians. Now we've got a race on our hands, because now we can see that he really is having a look. The message seems to have got through to Bertil Persson, but he has flung it away quite literally there, just flicking the back end onto the Armco, and he's dropped back some way. The bodywork flailing, you can see also as he comes through. Well, he disposes of that on the tyre wall there. And Bertil Persson, though, going to take second place for Sweden, but I don't think it's going to be good enough. I think I can say that the Brits are going to hang on to second place. Let's see what it does as they come down to the flag. They were lapping a slower car, almost lapping a slower car. Bertil Persson looks as though he may think that he's done enough. He's certainly over the moon with that second place. But I think you'll find as the points come up, Britain, yes, to 1 point. Look, Britain have done it by 1 point, and Czechoslovakia have done it by 1 point from Ireland. Oh, it was as close as that. But Norway are way out in front. They deserve to take the title once again. There's no disputing that. They deserve it. And there's Mick Bird, there's Will Gollop, Barry Squibb. Barry Squibb, Paul Coney, Tony Watts there with the sun hat on. The British team manager getting up onto the roster. And the British team then in second place, ladies and gentlemen. Paul Coney, and getting Pat Duran with the Union Jack. Probably singing the national anthem, the king of the karaoke, Pat Duran there. And there come the Norwegians. Thorholm, Stadholz, Ludvig Hunsbeth, Ivan Opland, Kjetil Volneset in the red overalls, the camel overalls there of Skoggy, and Terry Morstead coming up. And our congratulations then to the Norwegians. They've done it again. But what a great meeting it's been. It's my favourite rallycross of the year. I hope it's been yours. And as we close this one down, this is Arthur Debenham saying thank you for your company. We hope you've enjoyed it.